And I got a shit list for you if you think the worst comic book, one of the worst comic book movies ever made came out this year. So just keep that in mind. But I don't think Madam Web was the worst of the year. I don't think Craven was the worst of the year. The worst comic book movie of the year, and I'll get into why, was The Crow. I could not stand this fucking movie. I will say this. If you are looking at a pure, objective, just technical quality, it is better made and more slickly made than Madam Web, which is a lot more thrown together with ADR and everything than The Crow is. But I think The Crow is more offensive than Madam Web. And that's where my issue lies here is it's not just bad, it's offensive. Madam Web is just a bad idea that became a bad movie. The Crow is an offensive movie that is also a bad movie. You know, you can go into the whole Brandon Lee, Eric Draven stuff that a lot of people have gone into, and that's a valid argument. That's not necessarily my main issue that I find offensive about it, because I didn't grow up with the original The Crow, which is a much better movie, like by far. But I didn't grow up with it, so I don't have that same connection to it. I think my biggest issue is that I just find offensive is how boring it is. Madam Web isn't boring. It's bad, but it's not boringly bad. The Crow is boringly bad, and the fact that it, in a sense, should be tailor-made for me. Because I didn't grow up with the original The Crow, but I am a part of that target audience that would love a movie like that for a modern day. If they went at it at that approach, I would have loved it. And I think my biggest issue is when I watched this movie, and I might be the only person that got this out of this movie, but it was the design of Bill Skarsgård's character. I was sitting there watching this movie, and I'm like, this is some 50-year-old man's version of what a SoundCloud rapper from 7 years ago looks like. What the fuck is happening here? Why? It's like someone showed a 50-year-old man a picture of Lil Peep and said, make this emo kid into a superhero. And this is what he came up with. Someone that doesn't even know who it is. He's just shown a picture of him and said he's a popular emo rapper from the SoundCloud era. Make him into a superhero. It's like, what the fuck is this? And the first part of this movie just plays out like someone who's out of touch with that audience is making an origin story for a SoundCloud rapper. Because, like, it's not just the look of him. It's like the story itself is like these two people who like music come together, and then you get the whole part where she's singing and everything. And it's just weird. I don't know why my brain makes that connection, but it did. I mean, I can understand why, because, you know, they're over there playing a music thing in that one scene. And for whatever reason, that's the connection my brain had. And I was just like, this guy's out of touch with this audience. Like, it just seemed like someone who's painfully decades out of touch with the audience that they're making a movie for. And that's why I found it so offensive. That's why I found it so offensive. And then in terms of people that are fans of the original The Crow, obviously you're going to find it offensive for some other reasons with Eric Draven and the Brandon Lee controversy and all of that. So I understand that as well. So this movie, from no end, really has anything. It's more slickly made, I guess, on a technical level. I might say it's better than Madam Web, but to me, it's the worst comic book movie of 2024. That's The Crow. For as bad as Madam Web is and Craven is, it's The Crow. That's the worst of 2024.